Okay, this is probably going to be a long video, so you better get yourself a cup of coffee and sit back and try to stay awake, because I'm going to start from the beginning, and we'll see what we can do here. First of all, when you get the zip file, you're going to have an expert in there, which goes in the experts folder. You're going to have an indicator in there, which goes in the indicator folder, and you're going to have a couple templates you can put in the template folder. So once you get all that done, you load up your, with your MT4 platform loaded, make sure you go under Tools and under Options, and you have these checked. You got to have Allow Automated Trading checked, and also you got to allow DLL imports. Okay. Now what I do is I usually use the dollar turkey to put the manager onto. You can use the dollar turkey or the euro turkey. Main thing is don't put the manager on any pair that you're going to be trading. You want it on its own separate pair by itself. So I'm going to use the dollar turkey here. And normally it'll come up like this unless, for your first time. And then what you want to do, since you put the black template over into the template folder, what you want to do is load. The black template, that gives you a black screen because you don't want all that price information about the dollar turkey on the screen. So now that we got that done, we can close this window out, and you can open up your navigator here, and like I said, you should have put the manager into the experts folder. In this case, we're going to be looking at the manager version 10. Doesn't matter which version it is, it'd be the latest version you want to use. And as I said, we also put the strategy trader version 10 in this case up here into the indicators folder. And we also have a couple scripts in the zip file which you would have put into the script folder, and we'll get into those in just a minute. So right now what we want to do is load the manager, double click him, and he'll come up with all your settings that are possible. Right now we're not going to change any settings, but these will be the settings we'll be using later on. And as you can see, this will be our default 28 pair list, and we'll show you later on that you can create your own list or shorten this list, do what you want with it. But now we're just going to load the manager on, and he should come up. Now it's possible on a weekend, if your broker is closed, he's not sending out any information, or his servers are down, you may end up with a black screen here. You may get a part of a header, but you get a black screen, and you may get an error saying that you got to divide by 0 arrow. Usually the divide by 0 arrow means that one of these pairs you have selected over here is not over here in your brokers list. Here, let's shut this down here, man. All these pairs that are selected have to be over here. So if you don't see them over there, what you maybe want to do is right click and click on show all, which will open up everything over here if he's missing. So if one of these appears you got typed in here, but he's not over here, you're going to get that divide by 0 error, because what's happening is the program, the manager, is looking for information from the broker about that particular pair to put in its information screen here. So remember that. And here you can see it says version 10. All this number 1 means is we only got one pair open at the time, which of course is the dollar turkey. So that's why it says 1. If you open up more pairs, as we open up more pairs, this number, Like if we open up all 28 right now, this number would go to 29. It's just a little reference. I put it there because I wanted to see. Like, it's kind of a no, so I can know how many pairs are presently open. Okay, so now we got it open. Now remember I was talking about those scripts that are over in the script folder here. You got a couple scripts here. One is change template, one is change time frame. And those refer to these two buttons down here, which right now you don't see because we don't have any pairs selected. So what we can do is, just for the heck of it, let's turn on, hide this for a minute, to open all the pairs that you got in the list over here. All you gotta do is open PA charts, which is open price action chart. So you click on that and it opens up all 28 charts. And of course it opens them all up with a standard chart pattern, unless you got a default setup. If you have a default patterns template set up, then it'll load them with the default template. But in this case, we don't have a default template made yet. Okay, so I just wanted to get back to those two buttons. Okay, so now you can see these two buttons. Let's go back to this. You got a template button and a time frame button. Now, what this does, it also tells you what the shortcut key is, the Alt-M. This one is Alt-P. Now, if you want these buttons to work, what you got to do, right-click on one of these and go down to Set Hotkeys. And here you can see they're already set up. The template one, remember I said Alt-M. You can see it's Alt-M. And the time frame one is Alt-P. They are already set up. I set these up ahead of time, so be sure you do that, because if you don't set these hotkeys up, these buttons will not work. If you hit Alt-M, it will work. If you hit Alt-P on the keyboard, it'll work, but the button itself will not work. You got to have these hotkeys assigned to it, so be sure you do that. Okay, now there's one other thing that you should be aware of. Probably most of you won't be using it, but down here there's what I call an on-dock button. What that does, it takes this screen and cuts it out, on-docks it, so you can drag it over to another screen. So if you got like 2 or 3 monitors, you can on-dock this, drag it over to another screen. That way you can leave this running all the time, and then on your other screen you can look at the charts. So this is always up and you can see what's going on. But now to get that button to work, over here in the libraries folder, you have to have what I call the on-dock DLL. In order for that button to work, if you don't have this, it will not work. And when you click it, of course, you get an error saying that it can't find the on-dock DLL. Now, this on-dock DLL that you have to put into the libraries folder, of course, is not in the zip file. The reason it's not in the zip file I send out is because a lot of email clients out there will not let that folder come through with a DLL in it. So what I have done, in order to get this on-dock DLL, what you have to do is go over to the Forex Factory forum over here to the automated trading forum, you know, where we all are and where you should be if you're using this. And if on page 1, if you go down here, here you will find the on-docked file, the DLL you need. So just download this zip file, unzip it, and put that DLL file into your libraries folder. Now, a lot of you don't. If you don't have more than one monitor, it won't make much difference if you do this or not. The only thing is it will create an error when you load the manager. It just creates the error once over in your log file. It doesn't keep creating it over and over. It just does it when you load the manager or when you click the button. So the button will not work. Okay, so let's get rid of this. Okay, so we're back to this. Now we got all 24 charts. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close out the charts, because what I want to do is create a default one with the settings I want. So all I'm going to do is close all charts, and you notice they all closed. You notice my number went back to 1. It was at 29, now it's number 1 again, because we only got this one open. So now what I want to do is I'm going to create a default template on what I want to trade. So normally it comes up like this, but then what I'm going to do is add my strategy trader to it. And right now we just leave the settings at whatever they are for now. Put that on there. And if you want to make any changes to this chart, you can do that. Go down to properties, and usually I turn the chart shift on so it gets the price action out of my stuff over here. You turn it on. You can do this whatever you want, and also if you want to change colors or anything, you can do it whatever you want. You can set this default template up any way you want. If you want to put a moving average on here, you can do that. I wouldn't get carried away and put too much stuff on here though. Okay, so we click OK, and you can see our shift is on now because we've shifted over. And you can change this grid lines on the back if you want to. Depends on what you want. Did we have the day lines turned on? Let's see what's here. Period separators. A lot of times turn that on. I don't know if you want the grid on or not. It's up to you how you want to do this. So this is normally how I have mine set up. Other than changing these, you can change the candles, you know, to red and white or red and green or all white, whatever you want to do. Make your candles look a little different. It's entirely up to you. Then what you want to do, since this is going to be what you want to trade on all of your pairs, now remember you want to set the indicator up. With what you want to do. So if you want to use Marty, which we will get into a little bit later here, tell you what that is, you can turn him on. If you want to change any of these settings, which we'll talk about later, you can do that. And same way with these. This is basically the way I trade strategy 1. And you can also select of course, your strategy up here. In this case, it defaults to 1, but there's presently 5 different strategies. And we'll get into more of those a little bit later on. Right now, we're just going to leave it set at 1. So now we click OK. And click Close. And then what I do is I save this template. I'm going to save it as a default. And I don't remember if we have to have a capital on here or not. I better put a capital just for the heck of it. This will be my default template, so when I load a chart, it will always come up with this template on it. And we click Save. And just for the heck of it, let's see if it actually got it right. Just pick another chart. Yep. See, now when you load a chart, it comes up all ready for you with your settings. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is close all my charts. It'll take a minute. And wait for that to go black there. Otherwise, the rest of the buttons won't work until that clears out of the way. Okay, so now we're actually all ready to trade if we want to. Now, in this version, I've also added this Fresh Start button. So say you got a whole bunch of charts open. You see now our number up here is 29. We got 29 charts. They're all open. And you're done trading for the day or the week. And you just want to shut everything down. And then what happens when you start up a fresh test, I put this new button on here, Fresh Start Reset, because what this does, it click on it, you notice it closes all the charts, and it also goes up and cleans out up under Tools here, under Global Variables. There's always a lot of stuff up here that gets saved, so it goes up and cleans that out also. Then it cleans out the program, and as you can see, it restarted the manager. So now we got a nice fresh start, got no charts open. So now it's basically starting over from the beginning. That way we don't have any junk left over in the chart or anything like that. It's nice and clean, so now we can trade. Okay, so now for now, let's just go into what some of the stuff in the manager is looking at here. These buttons over here, all they do is open up a chart. So if you click on one of them, it'll open up the chart with your default template. That's why you should make up your default template ahead of time. And you can either close this chart, like you all know that. You can click close down there, or a lot of times it's just easier to hit the close. Here, if you got a bunch of them open, it'll go through and I'll close them all. That's what those buttons do. These are also buttons when you want to trade, you got to have the button turned on. If you want to trade all 28 pairs or all the pairs you got listed here, you just click select all and it turns them all on. Now if there's certain ones in the list you don't want to trade, you can just go down and individually turn those ones off in the list. Now this list, you do not have to use the 28 that are here. You can make your own list. If you go back to the properties, you notice down here it shows all 28, but you can put whatever you want in this list. Just remember it's only 6 characters. Don't put your prefix or suffix or anything like that on to any of these names. They just have to be the bare 6 characters. Now in this case, say I wanted to trade, I just want to trade the first 6. Well, what I can do is delete this one and it leaves a blank space there. Now when the program looks at this list, when it gets to the blank one, it says, oh, he only wants to trade these 6. This way I don't have to go down and delete all of these. It stops right there. So now when you click OK, notice only those first 6 come up. Same way with your Show Stats button here. When you want to look at the stats, notice only 6. They match the 6 over here. Now we'll get into something about this also, you'll notice in just a minute. Now if we want to go back to the graph, remember the graph only shows when you're trading. Okay, so now if we go back, properties, and I'm just going to hit reset. That'll get that space out of there and give us back 28. Like I said, you can make up your own list, whatever you got over in your list from your broker. But just make sure it's the 6 characters like this. No suffix or prefix. Now if we hit OK, now you notice they come back. So that's how you get your list. Okay, now over in the properties, remember we also have a lot size. Default lot size is 0.01, and you can see that's what it is here. If you want to change the default lot size, you change it here. So if I want to change it to 0.1, like so, then go back to OK, you notice now my default is 0.1. Now, cancel that a minute. Default is 0.1, but say you got a 1 that comes up and you want a bigger lot size just for that particular one. Say the Euro Aussie, you want to have a 0.5 lot size. Well, you click this, it increments it by 0.01, so you might have to click it a few times. Oops, went past it. Okay, now the lot size for the Euro Aussie is 0.5 instead of the default. And you can also go down with the down arrow. If you want to go back to 0.1, the default, you just click this and you notice it goes back to the default. The spread works the same way. Over here you got a spread. The default is 2. If you want to change it, we'll change it to 4. Click OK. See, now we got a default of 4. But a lot of times you'll have one that maybe the spread is higher than 4 and you want to set it higher. You do the same thing like you did over here. You can go up or down, and if you just click it again, it goes back to the default of 4. So that's how these lot size and spread size buttons work. Your default is always what you got set up back here. Okay, now what we got is what we call a trade comment. You all know what that is. You can add a trade comment to your trade. Well, we can always use this as a filter. Now, if you go to like show stats, you can see we got 954 trades. The reason for that is because we are looking at the account history down here. We have set no filter here in our comment, so we are displaying everything that is in our account history. Now you all know if you right click down here, you can set a custom period down here with your date setups and that, and kind of filter it that way. So if you only want to look at the past week, you can put the past week dates in there, and then it will only display those up here. But you can also use this comment filter. So let's just call it today. That's my filter. Click OK. Now when we go to show stats, you notice there's nothing here. You can see my filter, comment filter is today. Now let's go down and see if I got any with comments on them. Gotta turn the comments on. Okay. As you can see, some of these do have comments on them. I can't quite read what they are, so But if I were to put one of these comments back into the properties comment window here, then that would show up here. It would filter this. It would show us just these particular ones. Like, let's see if this works. I don't know if that's a full one or not. Okay, that worked. Because I saw down here heat map 60-1, these were I was just playing around with some tests. But see, now I'm filtering this whole list using the comment filter. And as you can see now, I'm down to just 22. It was only 22 trades there when I was fooling around with that. So remember, you can use that, or you can come down here, remember, and set up your time, whatever you want to do. And then when you're clicking, want to go back to the graph, you just click on that. Okay, so that's how that works. Now, this is your strategy. This is the information coming from your strategy. Now, we don't have any strategies going right now because we don't have any charts open with strategy. So let's click the button and get our charts opened up, which we had placed the Strategy Trader on. Strategy Trader version 10. Okay, so now we get all 28 charts. Now if we go back over here, it tells us which strategy we are using. In this case, we are using strategy 1. Now you can mix and match strategies. Like if I want to use a different strategy on this one, click on indicator and say I wanted to use strategy 4. And these you could change to whatever you want. But let's just say we're going to use strategy 4 on this one. And here it says strategy 4 on the Canadian Swissy. Let's see here once. Yep. See, it says 4. Canadian Swissy strategy 4. So we know what strategy we're going to use. This next column will give you a symbol. And we won't get into too much of those right now because I don't have any open trades. But there will be a symbol there showing what's going on with that strategy. And it'll also tell you if you're in a trade or not. This next column tells you what your profit or loss is presently on that open trade, if there is an open trade. If there's an open trade there, it will show up in this column here. This column tells you how many trades are open on that particular pair. Could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're using Marty or add-on trades, it could be more than one. So that tells you how many trades are open. And let's see here once. I'm going to do this. I don't want to screw this up because this is a trade that's presently open. This is Friday, but this is still open trade. You guys have probably seen some of this one over on the forum. As you can see, today has been flat. It hasn't done hardly nothing today, but we are up $1,831 so far. Okay, now here you can see different symbols. And you'll notice what these do after a while. If you do this a while, you'll see the star like this just means that it's a possible swing point. All of these strategies look for swing points. Here you can see possible swing point. But since we're in strategy 1, there's other criteria that have to be met. Then other things will happen before it will actually take a trade. So that's what the star means. Here we got a red star, so this could be a possible short trade. It's just waiting for some other options to take place. And then we got the ones with the up or down hollow arrow. That's another filter. So this would be the first filter. This would be the second filter. And then it's waiting for confirmation. Once it gets confirmation on those filters, then it puts on a breakout line, which is shown by a cross hollow arrow like this. Now when this particular one closes above that line, it will take the trade. And here's a short one. If it closes below it, see it's going to close in, 26 minutes, 27 minutes. So in 26 or 27 minutes, if this price is still below this line, when the next candle opens, it will open a short trade. So that's what all of these mean. Now, the strategies are a little different. They all basically use the starting swing point. This, either the red or the green star, that's always their first symbol for all 5 strategies. And then as you go up in strategy 2, 3, 4, and 5, some of the filters are removed so you can get in quicker. So it's up to you. I'm not saying get in quicker, but actually strategy 1 is probably the safest one because it takes more filters to get into it than strategy 5, where strategy 5 will get in with just, I believe, the star, and I think it puts a line down here which you have to close under. So it just depends on what you want to try. And like strategy 1 would probably work best on pairs that have a tendency to have long cycles. If you get a pair that's just jumping up and down all over the place, you probably just want to stay away from him. I'll get more into the strategy trader here in a minute, as soon as we finish with the manager. Like I said, it's going to be a long video, so you better fill up on coffee. Okay, so I think that tells us what all this does. Here you can see where all those symbols are. This way you can look down the chart and you can say, well, here I got one. Maybe it's going to get ready to break out. I want to go look at it. So you can go look at these individual ones and see just what they're doing. Like here's a green one, which is a possible swing point. But if you scroll out a little bit, now we're waiting for more filters because we're in strategy 1. So it's going to take more filters in here before this will even trade. So that's what all those symbols mean. And that same symbol show up over here so you can see what's going on. Okay, so I hope that tells you what's going on over here. Also, if you look up here, you can see what this column is doing. Right now, if you add up everything that's in this column, you should come up with this number right here. These are open trades. Open trades, you are down $5, $6.30. You can see it jumping around. This tells you over here what has been your maximum drawdown in this particular test. Now this test has been running all week. Today is Friday. Like I said, it's flat today. Nothing's been going on. I think it did close one trade a little while ago. If we go over here and look under the alert window, which of course is on a different screen. I just gotta be careful so I don't screw something up here. Okay, the last trade that closed was the Aussie New Zealand, and it hit take profit. Now that's another thing you want to look at over here. You can see hit take profit means it actually was a profitable trade, HTS means it actually lost. So you're going to have some winners, you're going to have some losers. So if we go look at the, what is that? Aussie New Zealand. I hope I ain't jumping around here too much. See what that trade looked like. Okay, there it is. There was that trade right there. See, that was a profitable trade. There must have been a red diamond up here someplace on one of these, probably over here. And must have had a breakout line going across here because it closed below it, went short, and then it closed because we got a reversal, a possible reversal on the swing direction. That's one thing that comes into effect here, which we'll talk about when I get over to the strategy trader. Let's get back over here. These are your sessions. Basically, most of the time you're going to trade 24 hours on this because you start it up at the beginning of the week and then let it run all week. That's what this one has been doing. It doesn't, especially with Strategy 1. Strategy 1 can take a day or two or maybe even 3 before it starts to take trades because you got to meet all these different filters. You know, like this one here is just a star now. That could be that way for a day or two before we get some more filters that it passes. So usually I trade 24 hours. Otherwise, you can set up times over in the properties settings. And remember, these times are not your broker time. These are your computer time. So this is computer time, so you can select one or the other, but I'm usually trading 24. Then we have the account start balance. That's what this account started at. That will not change until you shut everything down and start a new day or start a new test. The account present balance takes into account what has closed. So if you take this number up here and you add this number to it, you should get this one here. Now this number up here, you notice it's not the same as this, because this one takes into account what has been closed, this one, and what is presently open. So you'd have to subtract, since we're down $4.56, you would have to, or $5 was jumping around, subtract that from this, and you should get this. Now, this has been a pretty good week. You can see it's been up to $18 or in the $1,800, and we've only been in the hole $103. It's been our maximum downside so far. And so far, our high point has been $1,875. And like I say, today it's just hanging around doing nothing. Now, you notice I got auto snap turned on, so when this reaches 24 hours over here, this will erase and it'll start a new chart and it'll save the old one. Now the old ones are saved over here in Files folder. Now the basket gain ones, those are the ones I'm playing with right now. Manual snap, or if I would do a manual snap. But if you click on the gain ones, you can see there's only one in there right now. But you can look back and see what was going on in the past. Now I gotta be careful here so I don't close something out. Because like I said, I don't want to screw up this test. Because I'm going to let this run all weekend so it'll continue on Monday. We'll see what it does at the end of 2 weeks. Okay, leverage, that just tells you what your leverage is on your account. That comes from your broker. This particular account, I've got it set at 1 to 50. A lot of people like to trade 1 to 1,000. It's okay. It's good way to blow up your account quick, I guess. This is your margin. All these numbers come from your broker. I don't make these up. These are your margin levels. You will get a call, margin call at 100%. Stopped out, maybe your broker will shut you down if you get to 40%. This tells you how many present trades are open. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see, now we got 2. This one's got 2 open on it. Let's go look at him once. Here was the original trade, then it pulled back and it hit Marty, the first one. We'll talk about this in a minute, but there's Marty right there to set up. So that's why there's 2 trades. So he came back and hit Marty, so it added a trade. So you can see there's 2 trades. That's why there's 2 trades on that one. So that tells you there's 4 open trades. Maximum number we've had open anytime this week has only been 21. Now, of course, that's multiples. It doesn't mean just 21 pairs, but it could be, like in this case, more than 1 trade on some pairs. So, but 21 total trades have been open. Show stats, that's that button I just showed you. It just brings up the stats window, tells you everything that's going on. And when you go back, it goes back to the chart. So this chart is only a 24-hour chart, and it updates every 2 minutes. So every 2 minutes, it will draw another green line up here. When it gets to 24, it'll erase and start over. And it always starts at the same time. In this case, it started at 16:05 Central Standard Time, because I'm on Central Standard Time. That's when I hit the Trade 24-hour button. If you got a session, one of these selected, and it hasn't come to this time yet, this won't start up until the session opens. But of course in 24, when you click on 24, it's going to open right now because we're trading 24. So, okay, properties, remember that just opens up our properties windows. And everything is jumping to the other screen over here. Probably should do is get this off in here, otherwise I'm going to screw it up. And then I won't. My tests will be blown away. Okay, let's go back to the original setup there. Okay, a little bit of an interruption there. Okay, properties, that just shows you the properties windows. Now remember, if you got trades open, you do not want to go back to properties and start changing things. If you do, this starts over again. You're going to lose all your information up here because you're starting back from 0, so don't do that. It will recognize the trades, they will show up here, but all your information is going to be different because you're back to the 0 starting point. So don't change anything in the properties when you're into trades. Alert window, just opens up your alert window, which we don't have any alerts right now to show anyway, but we got snap. If you click on this, it automatically takes a picture of this entire screen and puts it over in the file folder. Auto snap, if you want it to take a picture every time it gets to 24 hours and start over, you have to have that turned on. Then when it gets to the end here, like if you run all week, you should have that on. So it's up to you if you want to take any pictures or not. just remember once in a while you may want to go over to the file folder and clean it out. Okay, new graph, all that does is erase your graph, cleans it up so you can start a new graph. Get out. Now get out is interesting. That only works when you're in a losing basket. If this is negative up here, you got a negative number, then this button will work. If you're in a positive basket, you're into profit, this button doesn't work. Maybe I should change that so it doesn't even show up when you're positive. What this does, when you're in a negative basket, sometimes the basket is going up, it's going down, it's going up and down, and you just want to get the heck out of it, kind of like a break even, just get out. But you want to do it at either break even or when it pops a little bit positive. So when you're negative, it has to be negative. You can turn this on, and then the next time this goes positive, it will shut everything down. And then you're done. That's how that works. So maybe I'll change that in the next version so this won't even be visible if you're into a positive trade. Because if you're in a positive trade, you can just click the close trade button here and close everything down. So now what the close trades does, it sends a signal back to the strategy trader, your indicator, and the indicator then sends a signal back to the manager to close the trade. The reason I do that is because I want the strategy trader to know what the heck is going on, and then the manager, he closes the trade when he gets the signal back. So it's kind of a loop. You click here, sends a signal back to the strategy trader indicator. That indicator says, okay, I'll close the trade. Or he don't close the trade, but he says, okay, I understand. I'll straighten myself all up here. And he sends a close signal back to the manager. Manager then closes the trade, and everybody's happy. Then the manager is squared away, and the strategy trader is all closed and then squared away the way he should be. These buttons, just remember, if you want to change the template on all these, you open this up and it comes up like this. Then you got to type a number in here. Now, I'm sure a lot of you know what that means. When you look under templates, you notice right now we got 3 templates. The first template is always numbered 0. So this would be 0, this would be 1, this would be 2. So that's the number you type in there. So if I want to put just a plain template on there, I would type in the number 1, and it would apply a plain template to every chart that's open. Now, period comes up as 5. That refers to the periods up here. These have to be numbered. So this would be 1, this would be 5, this would be 15, 30, 60, 240, 1440. That's the way you do it. You put those numbers in there. Don't put H1 or M30. It's strictly a number. You put that in there, then it will change the time frame, what period all of the charts are on. But in the case of strategy trader, he is locked to the 1 hour chart anyway. So even if you tried to change it, it won't change because he is internally in the coding locked to the 1 hour chart. So no use even trying it. Now these buttons do not change the chart you got the manager on. And like I said, never put the manager on any chart that's in your list over here. He's got to be on a separate chart. Okay, price actions charts. Normally, we'll close all these ones. Give it a second or so here. There they turn. Wait till it turns black. Open PA chart. You click on that. It'll open everything you got in your list over here with the default template we have made up. So now they're all open, and it tells you PA charts opened. And also now you get a close all charts button, so you can close them all. Click on that. And sometimes it takes a little bit. Wait till it finishes. Close. Now let's just pretend we're trading. We'll open these all up. And we're say we're all done. We don't have any open trades. Or you can have open trades if you want. It'll close them. We just want to quit. And I want to start a new test. And trouble is with MT4, sometimes some of the garbage gets left here and there and around. You want to clean it up. So rather than having to go in there and manually click on every kind of button and cleaning things up, I created this fresh start button. You click on that. And you notice it closed all the charts. It's closing them down. And restarts the manager. Now we're back to a fresh start. So now we can start a new test, whatever we want to do. So that saves you a little bit of time. Then we just got some buttons down here. If you click on news, it'll take you to the news page over on Forex Factory. Opens up your web browser and goes over to there. Market hours is just a page that tells you market hours. It takes you to a web page. It's just a link is all it is. Indexes takes you over to a web page where you can look at the individual currencies by themselves, what they're doing. That's all they are. These three are just links. Unlock. Remember I told you that undock is when you want to undock. This graph down here just tells you out of all 28 pairs, .1% of them are below their daily open and 42.9% are above their daily open. That's all this tells you. It doesn't tell you which way they're going. It just tells you at the present time that they're either above or below their daily open. And the graph, I told you about that, 24-hour graph. This is your GMT time. This is your broker time. And this is your local computer time. And you can see right now the broker time is advancing because it's Friday. And the market hasn't closed yet, so these are running. But when the market is closed, this broker time will not be updating. The local time and GMT will be updating because those are taken from your computer clock. Okay, now we got this up here. Session profit and loss tells you, like I said before, this is a total of closed trades plus open trades. So it's a combination of this number here and this number here. And it tells you how far down you've been, how far up you've been. Same way here with this tells you your percentage session drawdown. These are your open trades, as I said. Margin level is interesting because you want to watch that. You can set that because you don't want to get too close to a call or a stop out. You don't want to get to a stop out, definitely. But you can set those back in the properties. Remember, when you close when you save it as a template or something like that, you got to have them set back here. So you can set those back here to whatever you want. And even now, say you open it, you're into some trades and say, I forgot to turn the darn thing on. You can turn it on out here. You can turn it on and you can adjust it, but you probably want to do is adjust it before you turn it on. But you can turn these on out here and adjust them. Just watch out. So say you want to set it for a maximum dollars and the default is 10 and it's already over $10. And if you turn this on, it'll shut it down right now because you're over $10. So say this is at $10 and you want to change it so when it hits $20, you can adjust this up, crank it up. And then you can turn it on out here. But if you turn these on and off out here, they're all the same. You can turn them on here. These do not get saved in any kind of a template. MT4 in a template only saves what you have set up back here. So if you want to do a dollar one, turn it on here. Set it to true, say $10. Now when you click OK, you notice it's on. Now I can turn it off. Then if I restart, of course, restart the manager, he'll come back on again because I got him turned on back here. So it's up to you how you want to do. Just remember how these work. Also, there's one other thing that I guess this basically, just hit reset to clearly. There's what is called a repeat session. Now that works in conjunction with a basket. Now when you turn it on, what that does is if you have like say you got this set up for a maximum dollar, remember back in the settings, turn this on in the settings. If you have this turned on, when it hits $10, it closes the basket. But with the repeat turned on, it will start looking for the next basket. So you can repeat. And once it hits the first basket, you will get some stuff up here that tells you how many baskets are open or have been closed, I mean. So that'll pop up as soon as you hit your first basket. But remember, turn this on back in the settings. You want to do it that way or which way you want to do it here. Because if you turn it on out here and then when it repeats, it won't be on. But you can also turn it off out here. So it's just kind of up to you how you want to run those things. Okay, well, let's get out of here for now, and next I'll make a different video for the strategy trader, since this one has been so long. Okay, catch you later.